let's just get right into it, folks. Let's go and start with the big news. Now, this was something that has been going on for 3 whole years. 3 years of an absolutely insane culture war that has been going on around the internet. And even in specifically a little sector in the anime community. It has been going left and right. It has just been ongoing. The fire just kept on burning, and sometimes it can feel a little bit too much, where the heat might be a bit too extreme. And sadly, there have been some people who did unfortunately get burned. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. In fact, we actually finally got out of the tunnel. It is over. It's finally done. After 3 whole years, we can finally say that there is a conclusion to all this. And what I am talking about, of course, is regarding the court case of Vic Mignogna. Yes, it is official. It is done. It is over. The gavel has been hit, and there is finally a conclusion. And just like any mentally functioning human being would know, Vic Mignogna lost. He pretty much lost the entire court case. Nothing went on his side. He is a loser in all this. Now, before I go into what happened, I would like to go and start things off by giving you a little bit of a refresher of what happened. Maybe you have heard about this story before, but I'm going to go and read from a Twitter thread. And this one specifically is going to be coming from commercial litigator Akiva Cohen. So at least it would help out that we do get from a lawyer's perspective, at least from a law professional's perspective of what actually happened. So let me just go and read you here. Hey, litigation disaster tourists, it's time to look at the Eurtext of litigation disaster tourism, the destination on appeal from the place where, in many ways, all of this started. And this is in regards to Vic Mignogna. So, first of all, for those of you who don't know the backstory, that's Vic Mignogna, a relatively famous anime voice actor with a long-whispered, unsavory reputation as a sex pest. And he had a very prolific filmography where he has provided many iconic voices and many popular voices in some of the biggest animes. Of course, he was Edward in Full Metal Alchemist. He was Broly in the Dragon Ball franchise. He was Uncle Crow in Ruby, and several others. Like, the list really does go on. But at the same time, he also has a bit of an open secret, in the same ways that John Cristofalusi had that open secret where he was dating minors when he was in his late 30s and early 40s. And with Vic Mignogna, he had a very long history of very poor treatment in terms of how he would treat other staff members, and especially towards guests, like with female guests at conventions, with a long history of like sexual misconducts, groping, and a lot of other nasty behavior that eventually came to light later. So let's get back into the Twitter thread here. Way back in early 2019, those allegations exploded into public view at about the same time as the release of the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, in which he played the lead character. It apparently involved screaming a lot. Don't ask me, I'm not a Dragon Ball guy. Well, I mean, it's Dragon Ball, that comes with the package. Anyways, some anonymous Twitter users kicked things off. And then they got retweeted by 2 of Vic's co-stars, Monica Rial and Jamie Markey, who each tweeted about their own experience with Vic. And then he included a gif of Oprah Winfrey saying, "Speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have." He then followed this up by saying, Vic's fans were, how shall we put this, not particularly pleased by this, and in a spectacular moment of self-ownership, decided to harass people criticizing Vic, and particularly Rial, Markey, and some other folks with platforms like Mars Girl, aka Caitlin Saucedo. And she, if you want to know why Caitlyn was a very prominent figure in this entire controversy. It's mainly because she actually kickstarted the hashtag of it. She was the one who coined the phrase #KickVic. And from there, because she is a woman, she ended up becoming a massive target by Vic Mignogna's fan base, really putting the blame on her that, oh, Vic Mignogna's life is ruined because of Mars Girl and all that kind of insane stuff. But anyways, I say self-ownership because by doing that, they kept the conversation about Vic not just ongoing, but red hot. Which, of course, is exactly what any PR professional would tell you want when you're in the news in a negative way. Oh, boy. I mean, it definitely did deserve that sound right there. Anyways, Rial's fiance, Ron Toy, got very fighty about standing up for his partner on Twitter. Good for him, by the way, and ended up tweeting in her defense and about Vic several hundred times. And then following that, comics gators got involved. Anti-Me Too people adopted the case as a cultural touchstone, and crap got bad. A particular YouTube shouty man, Nick Rekieta, or technically Nick Rekieta, yeah, that's not how you spell his name. He's wrong. He's wrong. It should be spelled that way. Anyways, crowdfunded a litigation fund for Vic and encouraged him to sue Marky, Rial, and Toy for defamation. Oh, and also his ex-employer Funimation, which had fired him after doing an investigation of some incidents that it heard about. Anyways, wise choice for this type of situation. Definitely good for you. Definitely good for your career prospects. Like, seriously, bruh. In Texas, which has an anti-slap statute. Well, don't we feel foolish? Not even starting the lawsuit, and already he built himself up to failure, especially thanks to the help of Nick Rekieta, but we will get to that very soon. Anywho, after it appears having multiple lawyers say that the case was a loser, Nick recommended that Vic look up his family attorney, Ty Beard, a Texas lawyer with a trust and estate practice who had never touched a defamation case before his career. Oh, thank you for the subscription, DJ Lol5. And yeah, I mean, like, how many times am I gonna go and use these sound effects? I mean, seriously, just one after another is just failure after failure after failure. Anyways, what happened after that litigation disaster story on Disaster Rushmore with Kraken Suits and Inri Gondor, Beard opened by sending retractions demanding letters claiming, among other things, that calling Vic a piece of shit was defamatory because he was not literal feces. That's it. That's it. And and also that saying that light him on fire and send him to hell was false and defamatory because Jesus spread a message of love and wouldn't send anyone to hell, and all sorts of other just pure bangers. So really hired the wrong person for all this. Those letters somehow went viral in the legal community. We don't need to discuss who helped with that. Okay, I'm sure they feel bad enough as it is. And when I say viral, I mean viral. I literally heard reports from lawyers in Australia and Hong Kong about colleagues bringing it. Colleagues bringing it up to them as an amazing, did you hear about this one joke? Seriously, these letters were a worldwide laughingstock, and I mean that literally. So this is like a court case that was so bad that everyone in the law community is having a massive laugh. Like, it really is it's going to become literally a textbook example of what not to do in law, that Nick Rekieta and Ty Beard have now placed themselves in history as literally the worst lawyers in the entire world, or the entire history in general, thanks to this idiotic lawsuit. That resulted in Vic fans and comic gators brigading the lawyer, tweeting about it with, "No, you don't understand, you're cherry picking, there's a real case here," and pointing us to Nick's commentary about it. Since Greg Doucette, a very prominent and highly reputable lawyer, is fightier than even Ron, that launched the Thread Knot, Long May She Sail. And for those of you who don't know, the Thread Knot is basically an entire Twitter thread created by Craig Doucette that lasted for years, which chronicles literally everything about the constant harassment and the fails made by Vic Mignogna's fan base and the sheer stupidity of Vic Mignogna during court and every single proof that he has admitted to all the allegations that he has done. The Thread Knot alone itself is absolute proof that everything that has been said against Vic Mignogna is actually true. But wait, hold on, there is a bit more. Long story short, Vic got beat the F out of, and then open brackets, got beat the F out of. Texas anti-slap law conducted a masterful deposition where Vic reenacted some of the abuse from on camera, while Ty performed about what you would expect from a non-defamatory attorney if you also expected them to be lobotomized. Of the 17 claims against the 4 defendants, all 17 were tossed, and the judge awarded attorney fees to the defendants. Then Vic appealed, and we have been waiting for this decision for, well, it has been a short wait. And that is true because the entire court case has been completely rejected on October of 2019, I believe. And from there, Vic would go and make an appeal, and everybody has pretty much been waiting for approximately 3 years. Not entirely 3 years, but like it was still a massively long wait in order to receive an answer that the majority of people, that almost everyone in the law community knew about what would ultimately be the outcome. And this thread would go so much more and really goes deep into what actually happened in terms of the appeal, and like even more proof of like all the cases and all the allegations against Vic Mignogna was actually true. And yes, as a result, it happened a few days ago in which Vic Mignogna ended up losing everything. The appeal was completely lost, and once again, the 17 cases were completely taken out. In fact, let me just go and read you a little bit here from my source on Kotaku, which did cover a little bit of this case, in which it states here, the Court of Appeals in the Second Appellant District of Texas found that Mignogna did not provide enough evidence to prove that some of the statements made against him were false or that any were made with malice. According to the court decision, Mignogna will not only be responsible for paying off fees related to his appeal, but will likely have to pay more attorney fees to fellow voice actors Monica Rial and her fiancé Ronald Toy. The court sent Mignogna's lawsuit back to the lower court to come up with a higher, more appropriate attorney's fees for him to pay, in part because the cost of Rial and Toy's legal representation exceeded the $125,000 the prior court decision had previously awarded the pair. So yeah, now Vic is going to end up paying more. In fact, if that's not enough, let me go and read you directly from what the court said themselves. Like, let me just go and directly read you here, which is apparently from the Court of Appeals, Second Appellant District of Texas at Fort Worth, number 02-19-00394-CV, in which the judgment states here by Justice Mike Wallach, it says, this court has considered the record on appeal in this case and holds that there was error in part of the trial's court judgment. It is ordered that the judgment of the trial court is affirmed in part and reversed in part. We affirm that the trial court's judgment, except for the attorney's fees amount awarded to cross-appellant Monica Rial and Ronald Toy. We remand this attorney's fee issue to the trial court for a redetermination. It is further ordered that appellant and appealee Victor Mignogna shall pay all costs of this appeal, for which let execution issue. And on top of that, we also got an extra concurring memorandum opinion from Chief Justice Bonnie Suderth, in which Bonnie states, I write separately only to retaliate what has already been said both in the majority opinion and in the concurring and dissenting opinion. First, I agree with the concurring and dissenting opinion that there is an ample room in this record to support the trial court's decision to award a lesser amount of attorney's fees than Rial and Toy sought. But I also agree with the majority opinion in holding that a one-size-fits-all approach of determining appropriate attorney's fees violates guiding rules and principles, and therefore that the trial court abuses its discretion in the matter of which it reduces the fees awarded to Rial and Toy. So keep in mind that beforehand, on October of 2019, when Vic Mignogna first lost the court case, he had to owe the defendants, Rial, Marquis, Toy, and Funimation, he had to owe them just under $250,000. But now that he lost the court, now that he lost everything, and now that the whole court case is over, Vic Mignogna is now in debt of over $500,000. As I'm recording this, there is no confirmation as of yet of how much that Vic Mignogna truly does owe, but it is going to be somewhere right above $500,000 for all the fees that he has to pay, while Monica, Jamie, Ron, and Funimation don't have to pay a single cent. And I think, first of all, I might as well get this out of the way. Congratulations to the defendants. Congratulations to Funimation, which technically now is Crunchyroll. Congratulations to Monica Rial. Congratulations to Jamie Marquis. And congratulations to Ron Toy for finally having this 3-year nightmare be finally over. You can finally put this aside and you can happily move forward with your lives and with your careers in voice acting and so much more. I couldn't be happier that you can finally end all this, that you could put this aside, and that finally you can have your lives back. But let's get into this court case right here. Where the fridge did this go wrong? Because honestly, this was something that even I knew, like, even though I don't have like a law degree or anything like that, even I knew that there is no way that Vic Mignogna was going to win any of this. And honestly, looking back, I think it's safe to say that if we would have to point out two people specifically of who ruined Vic Mignogna's life, of who pretty much permanently damaged it to the point where his career is full on dead, where he is fully blacklisted from the entire entertainment industry, we have to call these two people out. And no, it's not Monica Rial, and it's not Jamie Marquis, and it's no one in the Kick Vic side. It is Nick Rekieta and Ty Beard. And I think it's safe to say that if you have to pin the blame on who's responsible for Vic Mignogna's failure, it has to be those two. Because when you look at the entire court case, it was just so poorly managed. It was an absolute disaster where, as it was pointed out, it was a massive laughingstock by the entire law community. It was just a complete failure where any mentally functioning human being would look at this and see where things just went totally wrong for Vic and all the wrong moves that the lawyer has done. Watching Ty Beard and Nick Rekieta at work, it really did feel like not like Better Call Saul, but it felt like an SNL sketch parodying Better Call Saul. Like, it really was that bad. And it's only one of two, and at this point, it really is just one of two options by this point. It really is just one of two things that might have actually happened. Because the reason why it went so terribly for them, it's either one, they really are that incompetent, that they are so bad at their jobs that they shouldn't even be allowed to actually have law degrees or anything like that, that there's no way that they could seriously work as lawyers moving forward from it, that like nobody should go and actually hire them. Nobody should go and enable their businesses. They really are that incompetent that Vic Mignogna already lost right at the moment when like he agreed to go and do this lawsuit. Or B, they were just acting it up because they knew it was going to be a disaster, and for them, this was nothing more but a scam to go and keep fueling the entire I Stand With Vic movement. It was just to give people the illusion that there may be a chance that Vic Mignogna might win. Like, they know that it was going bad. They just wanted to drag this on for as long as they possibly could until there is a final verdict, which finally did happen. And also, Like, if there is one person, like, among those two, more like one over the other, it has to be Nick Recchietta. He is the one who is at fault. Or actually, I don't have to keep calling him Nick Recchietta, because there is actually another name that Nick is actually very well known for in the law community, where people have actually called him the Blackface Lawyer. Yes, what you see here is a real picture of Nick Recchietta, where one of his Halloween costumes, he decided to go and wear blackface. And man, he was proud of it. Very unapologetic, and one of those delusional people that thought that he believes that he did nothing wrong by wearing blackface over here, which is why every professional lawyer, or any lawyer who is smarter than him, which is pretty much almost every single lawyer, calls him the Blackface Lawyer. Now, I don't know, maybe he has regretted that, maybe he did apologize, and if that's the case, I will take back my comments on him. Like, if he said that he's sorry and that he does acknowledge that racism is a crime, then I will take it back. But for now, it doesn't seem like that ever is the case, but it is true that he is known as the Blackface Lawyer, and it's because of this pretty little image right over here. And you know the funniest thing about all this? You know what's actually really hilarious? Because Nick Recchietta, he went on his podcast because he actually is much more known as like an alt-right podcaster than actually doing any form of lawyer work, because again, who the fridge would want to hire that guy as a lawyer? He actually went in his podcast and he unironically said, "I have nothing to do with it. I'm just a commenter. I have nothing to do with this court case or anything." He is legitimately distancing himself from the court case. He knew for a fact that it went so badly that he's trying to disconnect himself from anything. And I just gotta say, nah, you freaking drunk. Come back here. Like, I know that you're gonna run away with your booze and, like, drown yourself in alcohol to the point that you will have a reserved spot in your future at Alcoholics Anonymous, but you better get your ass back here. You're not getting away with it. It's all because of you. You're the reason why Vic Mignogna failed. Like, this entire court case is all because of you. Nick Recchietta is the mastermind behind all this. Don't believe in all the lies of the fact that he's just a commenter, that he has nothing to do with it. He is the one that persuaded Vic to go into this lawsuit. He is the one that raised a GoFundMe campaign, raising almost $300,000 to make this lawsuit happen. He is the one that tried to directly get himself involved with the court case. He actually did have a history of it. He was the one that recommended his family lawyer. He was the one that recommended to have Ty Beard to go with him. It's all because of this man, and everyone knows it. And honestly, I believe that Vic Mignogna fans, if they truly want to go and find justice for Vic, they need to switch their targets and they need to attack Nick Recchietta. He's the one that's responsible for making all this an absolute disaster. He's the one that built this up to be a complete failure. So these people who are trying to attack all those that oppose Vic Mignogna, they need, again, I believe that they got to switch targets. They need to first take down Nick Recchietta if they truly want to go and find justice for Vic. But then there's also another factor that I need to go and bring up, which is the GoFundMe campaign. The fact that he raised almost $300,000. That's right. Nearly $300,000 from Vic Mignogna's own fans in order to fuel up this entire court case. And one thing that I have not heard that Nick Recchietta has done is actually show any receipts about what's going to ultimately happen to that money. Where is that money going to go? Because keep in mind, this is not my money. This is not taxpayers' money. Excuse me. This is not taxpayers' money. This is not your money. This is actually the money of Vic Mignogna fans, the money of anti-woke people, of his fans, and of fans of Vic Mignogna and all those who say, "I stand with Vic." What is happening with that money? Because right now, it's going in one of two directions, and it's not going to look good for Nick whatsoever. So it's either option A, where he actually is honest with the whole money situation. He's honest with the GoFundMe campaign, and all that money that Vic's fans have paid is ultimately going to go to Funimation, to Jamie Markey, to Monica Rial, and to Ron Toy, so that they could go and properly pay the legal fees, while the defendants don't have to pay a single cent whatsoever. So it really is help funded, it really is help funded by Vic Mignogna's own fans that would go directly to the defendants. And not to mention, that's still not all of it. Vic still has several hundreds of thousands of dollars that he would need to go and pay. And that's option A, and that is if Nick is truthful. But there is also another option, and there have been some rumors that have been speculating that the GoFundMe campaign was an absolute scam. That Nick Rekieta, along with the help of Ty Beard, excuse me, they took all that money and they kept it to themselves, which right now, Vic Mignogna has no choice but to pay over $500,000 out of his own pocket. And that is if he's not truthful. And I think one of the first things that Nick has to do right now, that he needs to address to his fans to make sure he doesn't get attacked by Vic's own fan base and that they don't turn on him, is that Nick Rekieta needs to go and immediately admit of where is that money going. Like, before anything, before even if the fans would want to come at me with whatever pro-Vic comments that they want to say, they first need to go and answer the question, where is all that money going? And where is the proof that the money shall be going to him? So may I ask, Mr. Rekieta, may I go and ask you, will you be so kind and actually show us the receipts of where all that GoFundMe money is going? Can you prove to us that that you're not a fraud, that you're not a con artist, that you're not stealing money from Vic's fans and from your own fans, and that you're not screwing over Vic with any of that money? Can you do that to me, Pumpkin? Can you prove to us that you're not a scam artist? Just to clear off those rumors. I just want to go and help you clear your name and make you show receipts about where that money is going. Okay, sweetheart? Because I just got to warn you right now, if you're not going to do it, I'm sure eventually the police might. You never know. Maybe the authorities will come in right at your door and they will force out where that receipt is. They will be asking you where that where the nearly $300,000 went. So can you do that for me, Pumpkin? I mean, it's either you show it to us, or the police will show it to us. Either way, you got no choice but to do so. I mean, the lawsuit that you created completely lost. And with that GoFundMe campaign, I believe Vic Mignogna fans have the right to know where their money is ultimately going to go. And there is also, with that said, there is also another thing that I do want to talk about in the matters of, no, not this one. In the matters of Vic Mignogna, there's also another thing that I need to go and mention. And the truth of the matter is that when it comes to Vic Mignogna, and I know I'm going to piss off so many incels when I say this, but there is no proof of his evidence. People try to say that he is innocent, that Vic did nothing wrong. You don't have the proof of it. They're all lies. They're nothing more but fabrications. The victims and all the people who have accused Vic actually did put in the effort to tell their stories, to show evidence, to present pictures, to actually give them, to actually present proof that Vic Mignogna really is the monster that they have portrayed him. But for the pro-Vic people, they have done nothing in terms of his defense. They have done nothing to show any form of his innocence. And I know by this point, some people may go and point out by all the alt-right YouTubers, the white nationalists and the groomers who want to go and say that they stand with Vic, and all the big YouTube celebrities that want to go and promote Vic Mignogna and stuff like that. I'm talking about people like Hero Hay, Yellow Flash, who else was there? The Umbrella Guy. There's also like even some of the more general type of the general type of anti-woke white nationalists, you know, like the Quartering, Geeks Plus Gamers, who else was there? Clownfish TV, and of course we can't forget the Blackface Lawyer, and all those other guys, you know, they had made literally hundreds of videos, and there was even a period where they did so on a daily basis, trying to tell their audience that Vic Mignogna was going to win this court case, that Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi and all the feminists are monsters. Vic Mignogna is going to win. Vic Mignogna has all the proof. But that's the thing, though. He didn't win. He didn't provide any single proof of evidence whatsoever. And there's only one of two directions by this point that would go and explain all this. And again, it's not the fault of Kick Vic this time. It is either A, that again, it's Nick Rechieta and Ty Beard's fault, where they are so incompetent and so inept as lawyers that even if they did provide some legitimate evidence, even if they have legitimate proof, they don't know what to do with it. That it's all shambled up and they barely use any of it in court, to the point that it's just completely broken. Or it could be B, and that they are liars, that they're doing nothing but spreading misinformation, that they know that all the things that they're doing and trying to promote Vic Mignogna and demonizing literally anyone that goes out of their way to say that Vic Mignogna is a bad person, they know it's nothing but a scam. They know that they're just lying off of their asses and that they're just making things up just to grab attention, just so you can give them their money. That's all it is. These people are grifters. Vic Mignogna himself even knows very well that all those YouTubers that try to promote him, they're nothing more but grifters. They don't care about him. Even Vic knows very well that Nick Rechieta does not care about Vic. And right now, Vic Mignogna is pretty much in the exact same position as Nick Rechieta's wife, where Vic completely regrets ever meeting Nick in the first place, and he knows very well that his life would have been so much better if he never saw Nick Rechieta, like, ever. And that's the thing. Those people are just and that's the thing. They're just liars. And for me, I feel like option B in this matter is much more of a likely option, because they have a terrible reputation. They are notorious for spreading misinformation, that all they do is take whatever piece of information is out there, they twist it so badly just so they can go and promote their propaganda, or just spread flat out lies so that they could go and spread their hate speech and spread targeted harassment. These are the kinds of people that should not be allowed to have any monetization on their YouTube channels. And yet they are unapologetic in being grifters, that they're just doing this for the attention and for the money, and that in truth, none of these people legitimately care about Vic Mignogna or the fans. They're flat out lying to you. And that's why the Vic Mignogna fans should go and ask them, why did they lie to you? They promised you guys that Vic Mignogna would win, and that it never happened whatsoever. Again, I believe that the Vic Mignogna fans should really change their targets, that whatever treatment that they're giving to the Kick Vic people right now, they need to go and switch that up, and they should go on the attack of Nick Rechieta, on Hero Hey, on the Umbrella Guy, on Yellow Flash, and all those channels aimed for white nationalists and incels, to go after those people. And I mean, the thing is that they've been attacking the Kick Vic people for so long, and yet nothing has ever been happened. At least you'll probably get some form of justice, that you'll go and attack and you will take down those channels like Rechieta or Umbrella Guy or Hero Hey or whatever. Like, you'll take down those channels and they won't be able to do damage like they have done to Vic Mignogna ever again. At least you'll go and have that. But the sad truth is that at this point, it's going to be hard to say. Like, even like with my recommendations that they should go after them, the sad truth is that even if this court case is entirely over, even though Vic Mignogna lost everything and that the Kick Vic people came out as complete winners, and Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi can go back to their regular lives with no trouble whatsoever, the sad truth about this entire matter is that unfortunately, despite the fact that Vic Mignogna lost, that all the evidence is out there and now has been recorded in the Court of Appeals, like now has actually been recorded in law, in court and everything like that, fans still believe that Vic Mignogna, for some reason, is innocent. Like, they don't believe in what the law stated. They don't believe what the court said. They don't believe in literally any of the evidence. They still want to keep on going with this entire battle. They unironically believe that the battle is somehow not over yet and that Vic could still get back in court and go after Jamie Marchi and Monica Rial and Ron Toy and Funimation. And there's suddenly going to be a magical moment where Vic Mignogna will end up as the winner. They can't explain how, but now they're pretty much arguing that no, Vic is going to win. And the worst thing is that now they're at the point where they're so desperate to get that victory where they are legitimately arguing with law experts and even the court itself, that they're all just saying, oh, well, that's just their opinion. The court is just expressing their opinion. Like, yeah, you see this thing right here? That's just their opinion. It's nothing more than that. It doesn't matter what they say. It's nothing more than their opinion. Vic Mignogna is still innocent, you know? My guy, let me just go and tell you something. What the court says is going to be heard of. They will listen to that. And they will primarily use that as their source much more than anyone else. And the thing is that if you're really going to go out of your way to say that you don't believe in the court, but you believe in some alt-right incel grifter like Hiro Hay and whatever delusional nonsense that he says in his videos, if you rather listen to that than what the court says, then you're not listening to the truth. You're just desperate to have things go your way, no matter what it takes, even if it's unrelated to the law or anything like that. And this is exactly why the credibility of Vic Mignogna's fan base has been diminishing to the point where it's almost non-existent whatsoever. And why, on top of that, Vic Mignogna's fan base is the reason why that Vic Mignogna's career is flat out dead, that you will never hear him in another prominent anime or ever see him in the entertainment industry ever again. It's because they have a really bad and notorious and toxic reputation. Now, I'm just going to go and state this right now. Yes, I am aware that Kick Vic can have some troublesome behaviors, that the people who are against Vic Mignogna, that there have been times that they have some bad behavior where they do have a little bit of their own history of bullying and harassment. And I do condemn those actions as well, and that they are indeed in the wrong. I'm not supporting all the actions that Kick Vic has done over the years. But I can guarantee you that what Kick Vic has done that is bad, it is nothing compared to IStandWithVic. That is possibly the most toxic and vile fan base that you could ever find in the anime community. Not only a history of bullying, of harassment, but even some extreme stuff like commonly sending death threats, a long history of doxing, having a prominent sector in a literal white supremacist website, Kiwi Farm, and just such a long history of terrible and toxic behavior. And for them, they're perfectly fine with it. These are the kinds of people that believe that if they're just doing it for their cause, if they believe in their intentions, that if they're okay with their own intentions, then anything is possible. Everything is literally fine. They are that point of insane mentality right over there. All these people are so desperate to have things go their way that they are literally losing their minds. And it's sad because even right now, even Vic Mignogna is now going way too deep into it, and even he's trying to promote that, oh, no, that nobody came out as a winner, everybody lost in this case, don't worry, Monica, Jamie, Ron, and Funimation, they didn't come out as winners, there's no winners here. It's bull crap, man. The only loser in all this is you. Yes, the Kick Vic people, they won. They have been right about Vic Mignogna literally this whole time. And the thing is that it really is bad to where, like, even when they want to try to go and make some kind of crazy argument, like, they're at the point where it's like kind of hopeless to go and argue with Vic Mignogna fans. Like, you can't rationalize with them. For them, they are so desperate to try to go and win the argument. Even if you go and present all the evidence, they're not going to go and listen to it. They're desperately going to go and cherry pick even the smallest things to try to say that, oh, well, Vic Mignogna is innocent, which this is why they don't have, this is why their opinions do not matter. They don't deserve to have a voice. They deserve to be lost entirely. They deserve to have their social media like completely taken out, because they really are abusing the system, and they really are just like at the point where it's not healthy for them to keep on going, like arguing with people over things that, like, right at the start of the argument, they have lost. They have literally no evidence of Vic Mignogna's, like, they have no evidence of Vic Mignogna's innocence, and it really has now become so bad to the point that it feels like, honestly, if they do unironically believe that Vic Mignogna is innocent, it's because they themselves are aspiring predators. That Vic Mignogna's fans wish that they could be like Vic Mignogna, where they could go around and do all these terrible things like sexual harassment, sexual assault, groping, and all these kinds of things and get away with it. And even worst case scenario, that some of them want to be aspiring groomers, that they want to do that kind of behavior towards minors, like 14-year-olds and stuff like that, which Vic Mignogna himself actually does have a history of like causing sexual harassment towards them and even groping 14 and 15-year-olds. In fact, there are even some people among Vic Mignogna's fan base that are unapologetically groomers themselves. And two people that I can call out that are notorious pedos are actually the Ministry of Otaku and Black Sage. These are two infamous trolls on the internet who would go around and all they do is just commit targeted harassment, and they would keep sending like all the, like, they would keep presenting like bullying type of behavior, and at the same time they want to go they want to go and promote their love for lollies and stuff like that. And that really is the only reason why these people are so anti-woke. It's the only reason why they're like really heavy onto the anti-woke movement is because they are desperate to be horny for minors without being called a criminal, a pedo, or anything like that. And I think like the first thing, if the Vic Mignogna fan base want to go and clean their image, they should go and expel all the lolicons within their group. They do not belong there because they're just making the situation so much worse for them. And just going back to Vic Mignogna for a sec, the thing is with Vic right now is just, it's honestly ridiculous. And it really is going so bad because right now, Vic is just losing again and again and again and again. Like, not like the thing is right now in Vic Mignogna's position, he's pretty much in he is pretty much in every actor's nightmare. He is completely blacklisted from the entire entertainment community, and you will never see him in another highly prolific convention or in or any other like notable anime project or anything ever again. So he's completely blacklisted from that. He's $500,000 in debt. And not to mention, I have been hearing rumors, I don't know if it's true, but apparently Vic Mignogna has to sell his house. Like, he is so knee deep into this entire hatred and like he is so desperate for this win and so knee deep in this IStandWithVic movement in which he could legitimately end up becoming homeless and starving. Like, that's going to be the future of Vic Mignogna, is that he's going to be a homeless man. In fact, that's ultimate. And like, honestly, looking at it, like how all these anti-woke people that are so desperate for Vic Mignogna to win and like presenting all this toxic behavior, that's going to be that's going to be like how they're going to conclude their life. That's going to be like their future. They're going to end up homeless and starving because of their erratically toxic behavior online. It's going to legitimately ruin their lives right now. And even with Vic, the fact that he is like so knee deep, like the fact that he has truly been consumed by this entire incel culture, that he really has become so unchristian. And that's one thing that really is important to go and note. And that's because of the fact that like he goes around and promotes that he is a devoted Christian, that he has this strong love for Jesus Christ and stuff like that. But every single act that he is committing really is a serious sin. Like, of course, with all the allegations against him, it is, of course, the sin, like he is corrupted by the sin of lust. And even if people don't believe in that sin of lust, he also is presenting proudly the sin of pride, where he refuses to apologize, where he refuses to actually act his age and do the right thing and admit that all these things were true, that he admits that like he apologizes for it, go to rehab for a few years and then come back to be completely reformed, where like he is much more respectable to women, that he supports the hashtag #MeToo movement and all that kind of stuff. So at least they're like, pride is preventing him to actually do the right thing. And then there is the sin of wrath, where he is just so angry at literally everyone who goes after, who like pretty much is against him. He wants to present, he wants wrath against Monica Rial and Jamie Markey. Like, he really has become such an angry individual and such an unchristian individual. And that's the reality of this. The I Stand With Vic movement is such an unchristian movement. No real Christian would want to go and support Vic Mignogna. In fact, like and this entire thing, like with this whole lawsuit and stuff like that, it really is nothing but just that. It really is nothing but to fuel a culture war. In fact, let me go and share you something that a friend of mine, I'm not going to name specifically who, but they put out a comment about this situation, and like they really did described it perfectly. I just want to go and share it with you right over here. That basically the reason why that this I Stand With Vic movement, that it's still going even to this day, it's because of this. Number one, Vic's fan base, which was already notorious for being rather rabid, so once word of the accusation started spreading, they were quick on the defense. Number two, you got 4chan trolls who always love to stir things up when things like this happen. Number three, you got grifters who see this as an opportunity to make some easy clickbait money from the controversy, and so do all they can to keep things going. So basically, the grifters who don't care about Vic Mignogna, like Hero Hey, Yellow Flash, Umbrella Guy, and Nick Recchietta. And number four, extreme social/political a-holes who want to make this part of an alt-right versus SJW war. That's why this hasn't let up, even though it honestly should have died the moment Vic put out that apology prior to the lawsuit. And that's kind of the sad thing. Vic actually did apologize and admitted that these things were true right at the beginning, but this thing has just been going on for so long that it makes it easy to forget. It's always wise to step back and see the bigger picture. I had to do the same when I got too stressed about it, and it's done me a world of good since I can now focus on helping the others for getting too worked up themselves. And that's really that's the reality of this entire situation. That's, it's nothing but a massive culture war, because for these people, it's not about who wins or lose. It's not about trying to find the truth. It's about taking down one side. For those anti-woke people, it really is this massive battle of, it really is just this massive battle of like the anti-woke people versus the SJWs. And anti-woke people are just so desperate to take down SJWs, regardless if what they're saying is the truth or anything like that. They just want to go and silence victims of sexual harassment, of sexual assault. Even though the fact is, Vic Mignogna is the greatest example of why we need something like the hashtag #MeToo movement, so that people like Vic could never work in the entertainment industry or never have a job again, that he gets the punishment that he does deserve. And there is honestly one more thing that I want to state, and this is directly towards the Vic Mignogna fans that probably are just so pissed off at me over everything that I've pretty much said here. And honestly, if there is one thing that you should take from this, one piece of advice that I need to tell you right now is just, you gotta stop. Like, honestly, this whole fight for Vic Mignogna, this whole fight against woke culture and SJWs, you need to end this. Trust me. The road that you're going you're going now, it's a real bad one, and you really gotta stop. There is no future right now where things are looking good. And I know some people might say like, oh, well, Vic Mignogna, he's doing fine, he's doing good. He has this entire, Vic has this like anime, he has this dubbing studio that's gonna be coming soon with the help of the Anime Matsuri people. He's going to destroy Crunchyroll with it, which is never going to happen. It's not going to be true. It's not even going to last that long. Like, I would be surprised if it would still be open by next year, or even like by the end of this year. Like, it's nothing more but a fake promise, a fake illusion that Vic Mignogna's career is still alive, that he's uncanceled. But in truth, his career is dead. And there's no chance for him to go and actually sue others. He can't keep this lawsuit going. It's dead. It's gone. The thing is with these defamatory style lawsuits, they can only be valid to up to a year. Like, this entire thing has expired back in 2020. Even if Vic Mignogna could actually go out of his way to go and actually sue me, he can't do anything. I can actually go and point to this lawsuit and I end up winning everything because the court is going to listen to me. He's not going to listen to the freaking incels like Umbrella Guy or freaking Yellow Flash or whatever dumbass white nationalist incel that you listen to. They're going to listen to what the court says first, and only them. And that's the sad reality. Like, Vic Mignogna is going to go and keep on trying to promote that it's not over, but in truth, it is over. Because right now, Vic is desperate to try to go and pay his debt, and now he's at the brink of trying to make sure that he can keep a roof over his head and that he can at least have food on the table. That really is it. And the fact that he's still committing these unchristian acts like pride and wrath. Like, I wonder if Vic Mignogna has ever considered, like, if he is a true Christian as much as he claims to be, I am just wondering if Vic ever thinks back and actually says to himself, hey, maybe there might be God doesn't like me. Maybe God is actually punishing me for this. Maybe God is saying kick Vic and doesn't like the actions that I'm committing. If he can't see that, like, if he's not asking himself those questions, then he's not a real Christian. And at the point, and honestly, the thing is with Vic Mignogna fans, they're going to be at the point where they'll probably keep on defending him and defending him and defending him to the point that whatever crimes that Vic may commit, if like things are going to be worse for him and things are going to be worse for his fans. And whatever they want to try to do against people like me or anyone on the internet, or like right now, they're currently harassing and they're targeting Stephanie Chen. Like, no matter what they do to them, they're not going to do anything. Because the sad truth is, they've been doing it for the past 3 years, and they failed to silence any voice and to take anyone down. Because Monica Rial and Jamie Markey, they still have their voiceover careers. In fact, Monica Rial right now is currently she currently has her voice in what is currently #1 at the domestic box office of this week. Like, she's doing perfectly fine. She is doing very well. And then, and the thing is, people like me, people like Mars Girl, and every vocal people against Vic Mignogna, they still have their platforms. No damage has been harmed to them, despite the fact of all the desperate attempts by Vic Mignogna's fans. That's why I highly recommend that if you truly want justice for Vic, you should switch your targets and you should go attack Nick Rekieta, attack Umbrella Guy, attack Hirohei, attack Yellow Flash, attack those people who have lied to you, who said that Vic Mignogna was going to win, but it never happened, and set Vic Mignogna up for failure, where now he can never work in the industry ever again for the rest of his life. And that's why I want to go and help you to go and get out of that, to stop being angry. Do you want to be like this for the rest of your life? Do you want to keep continuously being angry? Do you want to keep getting like false hopes that the Kick Vic people and the SJWs and the liberals are right about everything, about the things that you're hoping that you might get right on? Like, do you want to live the rest of your life being miserable and angry about being wrong all the single time, and like going out of your way to go and attack people and to lash out at them, and even risking losing all your social media accounts, and even going to dangerous extreme lengths where it would put you into prison? Like, do you want to go and risk that? That's why, honestly, I'm gonna give you an out. To just learn to forgive everyone and kick Vic, to forgive people like Monica Rial, like Jamie Markey, like Mars Girl, like me, to go and forgive and just move on, to quit this entire anti-woke act, because there's no good future for people who are so desperately anti-woke. Because you see what's been happening with Vic. Vic Mignogna is a great example of what happens to people who are so indulged to anti-woke culture. They end up losing everything. They lose their platforms, they lose their homes, they lose their money, they will lose everything. So that's why I'm giving you an out before it is too late, to stop ranting about anti-woke people, because I can tell you right now, those people want to play the gatekeeping game. I could play that too. Real anime fans, they don't support Vic Mignogna. Real anime fans do not complain about woke culture. Real anime fans support the victims of Vic Mignogna, like Monica Rial and Jamie Markey. Real anime fans would go and embrace diversity and would love to see the new directions of anime and hearing new voices from Black animators, from other different ethnicities of animators, and LGBTQ plus animators and trans animators. They're perfectly fine with whatever representation is shown in anime and Japanese media or whatever. If you want to be a real anime fan, you gotta stop and silence your complaints about woke culture and just accept it as a part of life. And that's the truth about this entire situation. You need to find forgiveness and you need to move on from the hatred. In fact, to go and conclude all this, I'm going to go and read you here from the Bible. This is actually a real Bible quote, and it pretty much expresses so much. This is what real Christians follow. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. And that is a quote from Luke 6:37. So that is pretty much my entire story right over here with the whole Vic Mignogna situation. Now, I know that it is so much. I know that I know there's a lot to sink in, and we've literally been going on for about an hour. But now it is time that I want to go and pass the mic on to you folks. What do you all think about the whole situation? What do you think about the whole case with Vic Mignogna? Please let me know your entire thoughts. Okay. I'll mostly keep this to the court case, since I'm just glad the whole ordeal is over. But who thought hiring that guy would be a good idea? I mean, I'm thoroughly convinced that a brick would have been a better lawyer. That's how bad he is. But it's safe to say that the sad truth of all this is, comment not reporting. Please try again later. Bruh, don't do me like that. Nah, but in all seriousness, I think really Nick Recchietta was just fueling up a culture war. I think honestly Nick knew that Vic Mignogna is a predator. Nick knew that Vic was he believes that all the things that have been said about him is true, but wants to go and really enable it and decides to go and make this entire culture war. Again, this is exactly why there should be an investigation of what is happening with that nearly $300,000. Is it all is Nick Recchietta keeping it all to himself, or is he a man of his word? Is he a legitimate man of his word and giving it to Monica Rial, to Jamie Markey, to Ron Toy, and to Funimation? Let's see. I think that they should recast him for all the work he did in the past anime, like Full Metal Alchemist, since monsters like him shouldn't receive benefits from their work, and also those alt-right YouTubers should be banned and removed from the platform altogether, so that YouTube can be a better place from all that anti-woke crap. Yeah, I can pretty much say right now that that job, at least the first part with recasting, that's already been done. Like all of Vic Mignogna's current roles, they have all been completely recasted. People like characters such as Broly, such as Edward, such as Uncle Crow, they've all been recasted with new and much better actors, and actors who don't complain about woke culture, actors who do support women and victims such as Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi, and actors who are way better than Vic Mignogna, because who knew that who knew that actors that are considered woke are objectively better than actors who are conservatives and Christians? All right, let's see what else we got here. I was never a Vic Mignogna fanboy, but yeah, the dude is a massive creep. I'm really glad that Mignogna lost the lawsuit, and hope that not just Rekieta and Beard, but also incels like Clownfish TV, Yellow Flash, Geeks and Gamers, etc. suffered the same fate as Vic. Also, fun fact, on top of Edward and Broly, he was also the voice of E123 Omega in Sonic the Hedgehog, starting from Sonic Colors DS in 2010 to his final credit in Sonic Forces in 2017. By the way, did you watch the final episode of BCS? I'm not familiar with what BCS is, so I don't think I can really answer. Let's see. Vic Mignogna was a victim of his own unhinged stupidity. I've never seen anyone work this hard to destroy their reputation, not even Warner Brothers Discovery. Oh, we're gonna get to that later. Mignogna needs to get out of the business and seek some serious help if he ever wants to recover whatever irreparable damage he has to himself and his cultists, followers. Needs to grow the F up and learn that their heroes is nothing more than a sex-obsessed fraud. And yeah, like, Vic Mignogna should. And honestly, there is a part of me that does hope that one day Vic will learn the errors of his ways and that he will distance himself from all the toxicity that the alt-right YouTubers has caused from his own fan base, that he could go and get some therapy to actually become a better person. But the sad truth is, considering that Vic Mignogna is a prominent Trump supporter, and like any Trump supporter like Vic, he's a coward. He's too scared to apologize. He's too scared to do the right thing. And now, as I said before, God is punishing him for his pride and his wrath, and now he's pretty much losing everything. So I hope there could be that kind of day where he will learn the errors of his ways and he will admit that everything that was said about him is true and that he will reverse his ways. But at this point, it's hard to really imagine. Let's see. Well, that was a first huge story there, Matt. I honestly don't know any pop star or cinema VIP who has such much judicial troubles that had their careers completely ruined. Oh wait, there is Harvey Weinstein, Jared Fogle, Kevin Spacey. The fact that you're in the upper echelons of society doesn't mean that you're above the laws in the world. Let that sink in, you hippo elites. That's a new one, I gotta admit, hippo elites. Let's see, what else do we have here? Vic Mignogna has finally been taken down, right? Good, because he needs to face serious consequences for what he did to so many women throughout his career, so I'm glad he was taken down. Since that's over, we should now focus on other big problems in America to see if the orange fat guy goes down and gets to prison. One step at a time, people. Yeah, we got one creep that's finally taken down and is finally gone for good. The next step is going to be a much bigger obstacle. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, let's see. Okay, yeah. I'll go with this one. We'll have one more comment before we move on to the next story, because I know that this has been going on for a while. Let's see. This is such fantastic news today, people. Miracles do happen. I'm glad Dick Mignogna is getting what he deserves for being a prick and a disgusting human being. Even before the allegations happened, I was never a fan of Penis Mignogna in general, especially during my Dragon Ball phase in my childhood. One of the worst things that ever happened to this mess is his disgusting fans attacking me, you, and Mars Girl. But I am so proud that Monica and everyone fighting against this a-hole. Yeah, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if this week that the attacks are going to grow against me, because when this is going to air on YouTube, when this is going to be put out, don't be surprised if I suddenly become a target, and don't be surprised if I suddenly become a popular subject in Kiwi Farm. So if anything does happen to me, you'll probably know why.